All right, so let's start. So this is a ICT template webinar and weekly Forex forecast. So the plan for this webinar will be that we will check the ICT template. I will show you the simple installation, MT4 settings and the guidance, how to set up a notifications. As well, we will look to the to the external liquidity model plus Asian session plus daily open model. So it's actually like two strategies, simple ones. I will touch them just briefly to give you some view what you can do with this template. I will not go too much into the details because that's for another whole webinar. So each strategy could be like one whole webinar, maybe of 2 or 3 webinars, right? And then we will go through the trading plan for the next week. All right. So before we start, I want to thanks to the TopFX, which is a new broker which I have started to cooperate. I personally said to myself that I will never trade or not trade. I will never promote or work exclusively with any broker. But this one, it's a liquidity provider since 2010. And they are as well direct market access broker. They have really great latency liquidity, and the cost is just $2.75 per site, right? So it's basically like $5 per lot, which is much cheaper than the other retail brokers like AC Markets and the other ones. They have MT4C Trader. And what I decided to do to motivate you to test this broker is to give you a discount for my products. So basically, my products are currently this ICT template, trade manager, Mars EA, and COT data. So basically, you can get $100 discount for the Mars EA, $20, which is 50% for the template. Trade manager 50%, COT data if you get 3 months 40%, and the copy trading $15 discount, right? So this is just to motivate you to test the broker. It's very simple. So basically this is the discounts which you can get, and you can get these discounts or if you already have these products. If you don't have them, so where to buy these products, it's on the MQL5. So basically Mars, ICT template, and the trade manager. Once you buy them, you can directly download from this page, and you have license for the 5 computers and the unlimited MT4s on each computer, right? So, and the last thing, how to get a refund. So it's very simple. So register raw trading account with the TopFX. Deposit minimum 500, complete 2 lots. It doesn't mean that you have to open 2 lots positions, but you can trade as long as you want to until you complete 2 lots. And then you are eligible for the refund, as I said, with this percentage of the products. So that's just for the beginning to thanks to the broker who's as well supporting this webinar. And right now, let's go to the ICT template. Let me drink a little bit. Okay, so we will look to the installation, setups, notification, a little bit small process, and how to keep charts clean, and these 2 models, as I have said. So basically right now, let's go to the MT4 platform, and I will show you all the things which are in here. So once you install the MT4 ICT template, it will looks like this, which is quite rubbish, right? We don't want to do this. So that's why we have this button X. So basically what you can do right now, you can of course hide these elements which are in here. So that's why I introduced these side buttons, because these buttons help us to keep our charts clean and keep only the elements which we want to have on the chart, right? So what are these button shortcuts? So just quickly, to show you. So we have the previous months, highs, lows, previous weeks, previous days, daily, monthly, weekly open, equilibrium, which is a 50% of the dealing range, the sessions, Asian sessions, kill zones, central bank dealing range, SOL session open lines, and fair value gaps for the 3 time frames, and the X button, which hides all these things which we have here, right? So currently I'm starting with the clean chart, and if I go, let's say 4 hours, I can bring all these levels in here, right? So we have previous monthly highs, lows. We don't see monthly high right now because it's somewhere higher. In here you can see, right? So here we have the previous month's highs. Then we have previous weeks, right? The levels, right? So once the level is touched or is taken, the level changes from this full style line into this dashed one, right? So that's what has each level size. Same for the daily. Right now, we don't see this daily level, and I will show you in the settings why. Because we can set up in this template the maximum time frame for where we want to show the levels, right? So we have the daily levels, and my maximum time frame is 1 hour. If I set up 4 hours, I will see them here, right? So let's look. All right, so it has to be 4 hours is the maximum one, right? So if I go here and now I click, so I will see them right now, okay? So I can set up where is the maximum time frame where I will see the levels, right? So right now I have 4 hours, and if I go daily, I will not see this daily levels, right? Next thing is the monthly equilibriums, weekly equilibriums, daily equilibriums. So what is this? Basically, this is a 50% of the month, right? So let's say here is a previous month high, here is a previous month low. So if I place a Fibo like this, so this should be a 50%, right? So we have a, okay, so previous month low is this one, right? So we have we should have, where is it correctly? Wait a second. Here is something wrong. Previous month's highs. So this is in February low. All right, so this is a monthly open. I'm confused. Here is a equilibrium, right? So here is the previous month's high. Right now it's correct. So my mistake. So we have previous month's high, previous month low, and here is a 50% equilibrium, right? So it's showing a here. You see this one, this line. Like if we put this Fibo here, this one, right? So it's a 50%. So it's showing a 50% of the each previous month. You can see how it's actually nicely reacting on these levels, right? So let me remove this. So we can see that here is a previous month high, previous month low, and how the price reacted now on this 50% of its swing, right? So that's why these equilibriums are quite useful here. Here we can see again previous month's highs low. So you can go, of course, back into history and find out how it works. Next ones we have a let me go lower time frame. Next one we have a sessions. So what is new actually in this update? We can choose if we want to see a sessions like lines or the rectangles. So let me show you in here, and I will take you in this section 5. So we can see the sessions as a lines or boxes, right? So if I set up false, they will be shown as a boxes. And right now, let me bring a session, New York session, London session, Asian session. So we can see them as a boxes. So if we put it like a bigger history, it's a little bit more like, let's say, unclean. So what I can do right now, I can go back to the template and I can just watch it as a lines, right? So we will see only highs and lows, right? So it's much cleaner this way. And so we can see sessions highs and lows, right? So we have a Asia, we have a London, and the New York, obviously. So that's for the sessions. Then we have, obviously, this is Asia. This is next one is a kill zones. What's a new thing in this update? We have a kill zones here. So it's a Forex kill zones, right? What we can do, because some traders like to trade a indices. So we can switch kill zones to the indices in this section 3. Indices, you can set true, and you will see it will change a time. So this is a for the indices trading, right? So basically New York AM session and the PM session, right? So we can change this as well. Then is a CBDR, central bank dealer range. So let me bring it. So we can set up to 10 levels, and obviously we don't want to have a dirty chart. So you can as well set up how much you want to do a look back. Basically everything has a look back. So right now we have 3 days. If I want to look back just 1 day, I will set it up like this. I can set up, of course, the color. I can change the lines, you know, I can set up how much levels I want, let's say 5, and as well maximum time frame, right? So if I will set up 15 minutes, I can keep it on the 15 minutes always, right? So right now I can see this is my central bank dealer range, which is the range before the Asia starts, and then the levels are plots, right? This webinar will not be about explaining the central bank dealer range, but obviously, mostly you don't want to enter any trade before at least 1 or 2 dealer ranges deviations have been traded, right? So yeah, we can hide them, of course. And as I have said, the maximum to the 15 minutes, if I go 30 minutes, they will disappear, right? So still trying to keep my chart clean as much as possible. Next one is this session opens, right? So we can, it's, I would say maybe for the scalpers, it's might more suitable thing. So let's hide this CBDR and session opens, right? So what we have a Frankfurt open, London open, sorry, this is New York open, London open, and equity opens, right? So basically for each of this session, you can choose your color. So you have Frankfurt open line, London open, New York open, equity open. Again, you can set up maximum time frame. So let's say if I set up maximum on the 5 minutes, and then I go, obviously 30 minutes, I will not see them in there, right? So back on the 5 minutes, I will see them again. So it's clean like this. And then we got fair value gaps. So fair value gaps, we got 3 buttons in here. And for each button, we can set up a time frame. So let me show you again in the settings. I go ICT template, and then it's section 8. So here is like a fair value gap 1, 2, 3 buttons, right? So for each button, I can set up own colors. I can change the colors for the bullish gaps and the bearish gaps, but I do not recommend it because it will be your chart will be looking like a rainbow because already if the 15-minute gaps and 5-minute gaps are covering against each other, it's changing the colors. So what time frame we can set up? Actually, everyone. We can set up every time frame, and or we can set up the current time frame, right? So let's say, for example, we're gonna have a current time frame on the first button, and another 2, let's say 15 minutes, 1 hour, right? So okay, close, right? So now it's going to be 5 minutes gaps, and if I go 1 minute, it obviously will be a 1 minute gap. But if I set up a 1 minute and I got too much history for the look back, it can a little bit slower down your platform, right? Because look how many objects it is already, right? But anyway, it's possible to have it in here. And as I said, you need to be aware that if you are looking too much back into the history, so if I set up in here 5,000, it will freeze your time frame, platform for the, for the couple seconds, right? So be careful with this. You can play with it, and you can find out how to set up and how it works with it correctly, right? So what I like in this is that basically what I can do is I can highlight, let's say 1 hour fair value gaps. So as you can see in here, what happened in Friday, here was the fair value gap from the 1 hour. Here is as well some level. Which one is it? I don't know what is this. Oh, it's a session high. So you can see how the price action reacted on this level, right? You can as well at this 1 minute, and then you can obviously play with it and put it somehow together, right? So in here, for example, this looks quite good because we can see that as you can see, these colors are changing in here. We have basically 1 hour fair value gap, and then there was from here, if you look more to the left, there was as well 15 minutes, right? And on the levels where they are covering each other, they're changing the color, right? I cannot change that. That's from the MT4. So we can see in here 2 fair value gaps, right? Then we can see how price breaks the structure in here, comes back in here. Maybe there was some 1 minute, right? Here was one small 1 minute, then, you know, but this is not for the explaining the strategy. You must go through it. The important message is that you have 3 fair value gaps on the 3 buttons, 3 time frames, and it's nice to work with it and put things together. As well, it might you will be thinking that these fair value gaps sometimes, if we go, let's say 30 minutes, that they are somehow extending through the candles and going a little bit more far than it should be, and then that it's looking ugly. However, it's great because as it is extending until the moment when the gap was closed, it shows you where exactly the movement been, and the accumulation or the order block was created, right? As well, these levels, how as well the gaps working is basically, I was thinking to remove them once they are filled, right? However, they work as a support. So if you have a bearish fair value gap and price gets through it with the gap in it, so you can see in here, right? So they can work as a fair value gap, right? Fair value gap as a support. And this is actually the balanced price range. All right. So again, let me take you through the whole menu right now. So what's the most important thing? Sorry, I didn't want to move this. So what's the most important settings in here is this. GMT time, right? So once you put your ICT template on, you need to set up your GMT time. Basically, you need to check your broker server, and you need to synchronize that, because all these separators and the true IBDA ICT time opening is at New York time. So you need to bring this and this time. You need to calculate how far, what's the difference between the GMT, right? So then you go back into the menu, and you basically go through the ICT template and you set up your GMT plus. Then what you get in here, you can set up the name of the account and the mobile notification. So this is what I'm going to show you right now. So basically how to set up the notification. So you must go into your phone settings. You put the settings in the phone, then you go settings, and then you're looking for your MetaQuotes ID, which is the number which is in here. That's what I have now hidden because I don't want anyone to use my ones. So then you set up this MetaQuotes ID in your platform. You can set up your account name, and then you receive the notifications once the PDL or PDH was hit, right? So let me bring back to the platform, and we can see mobile notification in here. You can set up to the true, right? And then once we got this MetaQuotes ID, you will put your MetaQuotes ID in here. So what's then going to happen once the PDL or PDH level will be hit? You will receive a notification that you can look for the setups, right? So basically, we are looking for the external liquidity range setups, right? So we want to trade after PDL or PDH was hit, right? So as we can see, the last week was quite, we have seen that the Monday, the price moved higher in here. So here you would receive a notification. Obviously, you will receive all these notifications as well, but then it's up to you to find out a setup, which I will show you in the few minutes in quite simple strategy how to trade this, right? Okay, so that's for the settings. I hope that it's clear for everyone how to set it up. So what else is in here? We can adjust the buttons. So basically, these buttons, I can move them higher or lower, right? So currently we have set in the defaults 200 from the top. If I set, let's say 300, you can see how the buttons will move slightly lower, you see? So you can adjust it as you want to for yourself. Next settings is a separators, which is basically these lines. So you can set up your own color, right? Whatever you want to for the daily or weekly. Kill zones color, kill zones for the indices or for the Forex. Then what we got, the IBDA levels look back, right? So this is basically set up for how far you want to have your levels being shown, right? So let's say I set up, let's say 7 days, or let's say 5 days. And you can see it's showing me only the, let me hide the fair value gaps. So it's showing me only the levels for the last 5 days, right? And the previous week. So you see, I got only previous week in here. I will probably not see previous month because it's more far than this. Okay, next one is, yeah, obviously I can change the colors for all the levels. So I have monthly levels, weekly levels, daily levels. As I change the color, the buttons will change the colors as well. Here is the colors for the sessions, which I can change. I can set up maximum time frame. Here is for the sessions opens. I did not include a button for the hide or show Frankfurt open or London open. So basically, if you want to be watching, let's say, just New York open or London open, and you're not interested in the Frankfurt open, you set up the color to the none, and it will not be shown, right? Then we got 2 Fibos. So Fibonacci settings we have the ICT Fibo and dealing range Fibo. Let me show you. So we have basically 2 keyboard shortcuts. First one is F. So if I click, let's say I put my mouse cursor here and I press F, so it will bring this Fibo, right? This Fib, and it will place this Fibonacci with all these levels. And with the F, I will remove it again, right? And then if I place a Fib, with G, which is exactly next to it, it will place this Fib with the 0, 25, 50, 75, 100, right? So I will basically see the quarters. So this is a 2 Fibos. Next one would be a central bank dealer range. So you can set up everything in here. Then we got the fair value gaps. So we set up the time frames, colors. Here as well, we can set up the minimum size of the gap and the maximum size of the gaps. So this is good. Sometimes there is a huge gap. And if we are in the huge gap, we basically sometimes know that we are trading in it, and we don't want to have like a, let's say, blue gap like this on the whole background. So we can reduce this gap by setting up a maximum points of the gap. And the next one is a settings for the lines and for the rectangles. So I have included keyboard shortcuts for the lines. So it's on the P, O, and E. If you look to the keyboard, it's 3 buttons next each other. And as well, we have another rectangles on the Q, W, and E. Right. So let me show you how I'm using it. So, for example, as I said, I'm trying to keep my charts clean. And let's say I will bring fair value gaps from the 1 hour. These which are taken are not interesting for me. But let's say this one, this particular one is interesting for me, but I don't want to see the gaps like this. So what I do is basically I press Q in here and it brings this rectangle. So I don't need to use anything. And it basically brings this rectangle and I will set it up like this in here for myself. And I know that the rectangle is here, right? Then I can use, let's say 30 minutes. So you see 30 minutes here is another rectangle. So let's say I want to highlight this one as well in here. So I got, I use another shortcut and I put this one in here, right? So I got these 2 rectangles in here. Let's say I want to highlight, let's say some levels. So for example, anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's say this one. So I just bring E, right? And it's showing me here, you can see on like as I'm on the 30 minutes time frame, it's showing this 30, right? So showing me the time frame. Then when I go 5 minutes, let's say, I see this level in here, right? Let's say if I want to highlight some order block in here, I can use whatever I want. Then I can hide all the drawings and I have only the levels which I wanted to, let's say, highlight here for me, right? So I don't need to use always all these drawings. I can do it just like this. So this is for the settings. So we got the notifications. I hope it's all clear for everyone. So if you have any questions regarding the ICT template, you can ask right now, and I will answer them straight away before we move into the brief explanation of the 2 simple strategies.